Everyone, and welcome to the very first virtual community annual general meeting in St. John Energy's history. We're certainly living in extraordinary times, and I wish you well as we all move through this. My name is Ray Robinson. I'm the President and CEO of St. John Energy, and I'll be your host for today. It's my privilege to report to you today on some highlights from 2019, outline for you our response to COVID-19, and share some of our plans for the future. At St. John Energy, we take great pride in reliably powering the homes and businesses of the community and in innovating to serve our city and our customers even better in the future. And so in that vein, we'll have some news a little bit later about the latest innovation we have in store for the people in St. John. Wayne Long, member for St. John, and Ryan Mitchell, Vice President here at St. John Energy, will be sharing those details with you. And then you'll hear from David Campbell, President of Jupia Consultants, and former chief economist for the province of New Brunswick. Now, I'm told that we have 170 people who have joined us virtually today. Thank you for your interest and your time. At the end of the formal proceedings, St. John Energy managers and I will be staying online to answer questions. We welcome with us online today representatives of the media. Just a reminder that separate follow-up interviews are available for you. If you haven't already contacted our staff, email CEO office at sjenergy.com with your request. To kick us off this morning, a short message from His Worship Don Darling, the Mayor of St. John. Mayor Darling?
Good morning, everybody. It's Mayor Don Darling, and it's my honor to be here with you for the St. John Energy Annual General Meeting. It's a bit different this year as we come together virtually, but what we do know is the amazing work that St. John Energy's been doing. This innovative energy utility right here in St. John has been leading the way, whether it's the first Tesla Megapack installed in North America, whether it's Smart Grid, whether it's the Birch Hill Wind project, or the solar projects that are in their plants, or just simply the exceptional customer service that this utility provides to its ratepayers. We simply want to say thank you. Thank you to the entire team at St. John Energy. Thank you for being visionaries. Thank you for incredible customer service and performance. Thank you for the value that you bring to us in the city of St. John. I'm excited about today's meeting. I'm excited about talking about the future, the innovations, and I'm excited about pushing the growth agenda, which on my behalf and council's behalf, we are fully supportive of. So I hope we have a great meeting today, and thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Don. And again, your energy and your passion for this city and for St. John Energy shines through. St. John Energy is closing in on a century of service to St. John. We were founded in 1922 as Civic Hydro, and we've always been owned by the city of St. John. Our electricity rates are the lowest in Atlantic Canada, with residents paying 10% less and commercial customers 3% less than the rest of the province. And that's about $10 million in savings a year for the people of St. John. At St. John Energy, we're proud of our efficiency and proven reliability, and our customers have paid us back with high satisfaction scores. In fact, some of the highest in the country, as reported by the Canadian Electricity Association. The future of St. John Energy has been the focus of quite a bit of attention these days, particularly with recent talk of an unsolicited bid to purchase us from the city. The reaction from that, or to that from the community, was swift and loud. Citizens are proud of their reliable and innovative local energy company, and let that be known. We were heartened by that reaction, and it showed that people care about us. City Council subsequently voted to take sale off the table, but there still remains the question of how St. John Energy can help the city as it navigates its finances. We have a plan for that, and we've been advocating it with officials locally and at the provincial level for some time. It's our strategy for growth, designed to ensure a sustainable future for our utility. It's designed to transform St. John Energy into the utility of the future, and to grow prosperity and jobs for St. John, and to advance New Brunswick innovation agenda. And we believe it is more important than ever. COVID-19 has not stopped us. If anything, it has become more important. It can help drive the recovery for St. John. I'll be outlining our plans for the future in a few minutes, but first a review of a highly successful year for St. John Energy in 2019. As you can see here, our net cash earnings continued to climb. There were more than $9.4 million in 2019. That's more than a 50% increase over the 5 or 6 years ago. We ended the year with no long-term debt, leaving us in a very strong position to weather the times ahead. Now, this graph shows you the reason why. Our customers are embracing our innovative energy solutions like the heat pump rental program that continues to be in high demand. As you can see in this graph, the net cash earnings for customer products are steadily increasing year over year, while our traditional sales of electricity have remained flat. Well over 60% of our customers rent a product from St. John Energy right now, and this is an integral part of our business today, and we see that only increasing in the future. Our growth strategy deliberately capitalized on this shift, ensuring St. John Energy remains strong and sustainable well into the future. For those of you who are interested in more detail on our financial performance in 2019, our annual report is now available for download from our website. So we began a number of years ago to reposition St. John Energy in light of a number of shifts emerging in our industry, not just here, but across North America and around the world. Electricity marketplaces are adapting to new and disruptive technology, changing regulatory frameworks and shifting consumer expectations. Action around climate change is leading utilities and the customers to shift away from fossil fuel sources to cleaner energy options. The price of renewable energy options like wind and solar are dropping dramatically. So are options like battery storage. Similarly, the use of electric vehicles is on the rise. Customers want more convenience, more information, and more control over their energy use. These are just a few examples of the disruption happening, and we wanted to be certain St. John Energy was not only prepared and ready, but leading the way. We've been looking for some time now at flowing a dividend from our operations to our owner, the City of St. John. A dividend stream to flow to the city, which we estimate at $17 to $48 million over a 10-year period, would provide critical support to the city and the services it provides, and brings new opportunities for St. John and its citizens. And this is a common practice around municipal-owned utilities across Canada. In fact, 93% of them are already structured to return significant revenues to their owners. The structure we have in mind is recommended to us by Deloitte and is in line with modern practices by other locally owned utilities, and would see us pay out a portion of our net income to our owner. To give you an idea how this works elsewhere and the potential for us over time, Oakville Enterprises in Southern Ontario is roughly the same has roughly the same number of customers as St. John Energy, and it returns $5 million to its municipal government. That utility employs 1,000 people, with the majority of their employees working outside of the core distribution business. And by comparison, St. John Energy employs about 100 today. For some time now, we've been working with the provincial government in an effort to realize this modern structure for St. John Energy. In order to flow the dividends to the city, there must be changes to the Local Governance Act to allow for it. This is key to our growth strategy for St. John Energy, for building the utility of the future right here in St. John. This is a tremendous step forward, not only for our company, but for the prosperity of our city, our region, and our province. The growth strategy is built around three main pillars: strategic partnerships, smart energy services, and renewable energy. With the strategic partnership pillar, we're forging alliances with other companies and organizations to foster innovation and propel the entrepreneurial community in the energy field. We're in early discussions with economic development of Greater St. John to create a new energy center for innovation. We envision the center as a way to leverage the nimbleness of St. John Energy and to share our data and access to our system with others in order to solve challenges facing the energy sector. That'll translate into investment attraction as well as for export potential. This will build on the connections and partnership we already have with the other municipal utilities in the Atlantic region, as well as researchers at UMB and MBCC, and they're all keen to come on side. Secondly, with smart energy services, we're advancing technology and innovation in people's homes and businesses. This is an exciting and rapidly developing area for us. We're also headlong into developing renewable energy for St. John. We're studying an option that will allow our customers to rent solar panels in ground-mounted solar arrays and have the generation from those panels credited back to their power bills. And then, of course, there's our wind energy project. Last September, we took an historic step forward with the announcement of a partnership that will see the city's first wind farm built with enough capacity to generate about 15% of St. John's energy needs. Natural Forces, a firm that started right here in New Brunswick and now operates across Canada and around the world, will spend up to $60 million for as many as 10 turbines at the Spruce Lake Industrial Park, creating 100 construction jobs during the build. The wind energy wind energy standing as the lowest cost form of new energy in Canada today, we expect that the Birchill will save us more than $5 million a year in our energy supply cost. Not only is this good for St. John, but it's good for New Brunswick, and it will be good for NB Power. While it will mean we'll buy less power from NB Power in the short term, in the longer term, it'll save NB Power money on maintaining and operating its fossil fuel generating assets. It'll lower their carbon emissions and the province's carbon footprint. It'll mean a greener New Brunswick. A few months ago, after the Birchill announcement, we took delivery of a massive state-of-the-art Tesla battery. We knew we were an early adopter of this technology, but we weren't aware until the Tesla technicians arrived for commissioning at our Milledgeville substation. This was the first Tesla Megapack in the world to be deployed. This battery is now helping us manage the intermittent nature of renewable power, as well as shifting energy from times of low demand to high, smoothing the peak of high demand, and again, saving money and curbing the need for NB Power to fire up generation assets that produce carbon emissions. We continue to pursue our pioneering smart grid project. The $13 million project has received significant support from the federal government. Our smart grid will correlate weather patterns with demands for electricity and use artificial intelligence to optimize the charging or discharging of distributed energy resources that are owned by St. John Energy, St. John Water, and our customers. The smart grid will allow us to aggressively attack peak demand energy costs, which amount to about $30 million a year for St. John Energy. We have had some successes in curbing the peak. Our efforts so far have saved us $1.5 million in 2019 alone, which has been a record for us. Apart from the costs associated with peak energy, it's important to note that peak energy production in New Brunswick emits twice as much greenhouse gas as off-peak generation does. The smart grid also allows us to bring advanced technology into customers' homes and businesses. The photo you see here is from Mitchell Apartments, once a derelict housing in the North End, now completely retrofitted by a developer into a clean, modern apartments. These buildings were the first to be equipped with St. John Energy Smart Home Bundle, which includes smart heat pumps, smart thermostats, and smart water heaters. Such technology allows our customers to embrace greener energy solutions, save energy, and save money. A recent economic impact assessment of our operations by Jupia Consultants concluded that we add $100 million to the provincial economy every year, or $1 billion over a 10-year period. As we implement our growth strategy, our economic impact will increase significantly. As I mentioned when we began, the province's former chief economist and president of Jupia Consultants, David Campbell, will be joining us a little later to share what he has concluded. I won't steal his thunder, but what I will say is his report underscores for me, in a very real way, the impact that our locally owned energy company can have on many fronts, on creating jobs, on keeping and growing economic opportunities in St. John, and on investing to give back. His full report, by the way, is on St. John Energy website for anybody who would like to read it. Well, we know that 2020 will be starkly different than 2019 in many different ways, with the unparalleled consequences of the global COVID-19 pandemic. Our dedicated employees made it possible for us to move to a virtual operation in under 12 hours, and I salute their hard work and commitment in serving the people of the city during a trying time. Because we entered our response to COVID-19 from a position of strength, we were able to move quickly with approaches that would provide relief to our customers who had suddenly lost jobs or had to shut down their businesses. With customers deferring payments and a drop in demand, we anticipate up to an $8 million gap in cash flows for 2020. So we swiftly instigated a robust financial and operational review identifying $4 million in reductions or deferrals to our operating and capital plans, while arranging for financial backstops for the remainder. So let me assure you, we have not hesitated in our continued pursuit of our growth strategy. In fact, we believe it really is far more important as a catalyst for economic growth for our city and our province. It's a significant part of the culture of St. John Energy to give back to the community. After all, St. John is our home too. We owe everything to the city we serve, and that sense of giving and giving back and caring is ingrained in our organizational culture. In unprecedented flooding in 2018 and 19, we assisted customers by delivering aid kits and safeguarding equipment such as water heaters. We took a targeted approach to disconnections, making sure that only customers whose homes had taken on water were affected. As part of our commitment to our people and our community, each employee is given an hour a week to dedicate to volunteer time. Some employees invest that time with students at nearby Seaside Park Elementary School. Through PALS, they help students with literacy, coach them in sports, and spend valuable one-on-one time with them. Our company and our employees contribute more than $150,000 every year to local charitable organizations. A dedicated partnership with the United Way empowers our giving. Much of our commitment is directed towards ending generational poverty in St. John. Among other efforts, we have invested in When Children Succeed. It's a 3-year demonstration project by BCAPI, and it aims to improve literacy and educational outcomes for children in the early grades in priority neighborhoods. The project is showing tremendous progress, proving that extra staffing and resources in those early years can bolster learning and achievement. The announcement to come next on the agenda is another step in St. John Energy transforming itself into the utility of the future. But just before we get there, I wanted to mention an important collaboration I see ahead. And that's working with NB Power to define together what the utility of the future looks like, not just for us, but setting out the opportunities for each of us. This was a recommendation arising from Deloitte. Through an engagement commissioned by the City of St. John, they undertook an independent evaluation of our growth strategy. The evaluation was very positive, confirming that the sound nature of the plan and the benefits that it will bring to St. John. It was an important due diligence as the city examines its budget and financial sustainability in the years ahead. We believe our path makes sense not just for St. John region, but for all of New Brunswick. And we look forward to working with NB Power to determine and pursue the steps necessary to forge the utility of the future. And with that, I'd like to introduce Wayne Long, Member of Parliament for St. John Rothesay. Wayne likely needs no further introduction, but being a well-known figure in St. John, even before he became MP in 2015, Wayne has been a great booster for our city and has always been keenly interested in what we're up to at St. John Energy. And so it is my pleasure to welcome Wayne to our virtual podium today. Wayne?
Good morning to everybody. And Ray, thank you very much for the introduction. I'm delighted to be here today to be a part of this virtual conference. I hope that you and your loved ones are staying safe during this unprecedented time. I do want to begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional, unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq and Maliseet people. I also want to take this time to congratulate St. John Energy on your amazing leadership in our community for almost a century. City Council's vote last month was a strong vote of confidence for all of you. I've always loved days like this, days when our community comes together, big and small, to make a difference. Today is even more extraordinary because we are gathering during an unprecedented time. Our government has responded to this global pandemic by doing everything it can to protect Canadians from COVID-19 and by implementing the largest economic stimulus program in our country's history. With measures like the now famous CERB, the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, the Canadian Emergency Wage Subsidy, which countless organizations and companies are using, we want to make sure Canadians can make ends meet during this pandemic. This is tough for everyone, but today's event represents a small point of light in the distance. Our province is leading the way by gradually and cautiously reopening our economy. We're even starting to talk about other things than the pandemic. This AGM is a great example. Even as we look to come out of the other side of this public health crisis, we also have to confront the ongoing challenge of a changing climate. That's why our government is making generational investments to build green infrastructure, to develop new sources of clean energy, and to make buildings and homes more energy efficient. Which is why I'm delighted to announce our investment in an exciting new project, the St. John Residential Heat Loss Initiative. What I like best about this project, and this wouldn't surprise anyone who knows about my hockey background, is teamwork. St. John Energy is partnering with the Government of Canada, with my alma mater UNBSJ, and with a creative Calgary company called My Heat. The goal? To save homeowners money, to help save our planet from the worst impacts of climate change. I also think it's great that this initiative really personalizes the climate discussion. St. Johners will soon be able to go online to see exactly how much heat is leaking from their homes. You want to talk about innovation. This is absolutely incredible. That's because My Heat has already done a flyover to gather thermal data and map rooftop heat losses. Critical work that allows us to identify our weak spots so we can fix them with products and services from weather stripping to retrofits to fix poorly insulated attics and leaky windows. It's a classic win-win to save us money and to save our planet. So today, on behalf of Natural Resources Minister Seamus O'Regan, I'm pleased to announce a federal contribution of just over $326,000 to this important project. Can't hear any claps, it's virtual, so I assume you all clap for that. This is yet another way our government is driving real change, protecting the planet we cherish while creating the conditions for our community to thrive once we have fought off this global pandemic. Congratulations to everyone involved, and I wish you every success. Thank you very much for letting me participate in your AGM.
Well, thank you, Wayne. We very much appreciate your support and the support of the Government of Canada in this project, and more broadly, in spurring clean energy projects for St. John. Now I'd like to call upon our Vice President, Ryan Mitchell. Ryan is the driving force behind getting innovation to our customers, and I'm pleased to have him share more details with you about this innovative new service. Ryan?
Thank you, Ray, and thanks to everyone for joining us today. Certainly, our customers are trying to find ways to save money on their energy bills and decrease their impact on the environment. We know many of our customers struggle with heat loss, as almost 40% of St. John homes were built before 1960. St. John Energy is pleased to partner with Natural Resources Canada, the University of New Brunswick, and Calgary-based My Heat to offer the Home Heat Saver program, a campaign to help our customers better understand how much heat is escaping their homes and what they can do about it. This project will be the first of its kind in Atlantic Canada. We want to help our customers increase efficiency, conserve energy, and save money. To help our customers achieve this, the Home Heat Saver program will use innovative aerial heat mapping technology to show exactly where heat is escaping their home. Now here's how it will work. By logging into their account online, customers will be able to see their home's personalized yet private heat loss map. Now this includes a unique thermal image of the rooftop. This map will pinpoint specific areas that are experiencing high heat loss in red and more efficient areas in blue. Based on the amount of heat escaping the home, customers will receive a heat loss score that only they will see. Customers will be able to compare their score to the city as well as the neighborhood average. We will connect those with a high heat loss score with rebate programs, efficiency services, and innovative products to help them conserve energy, save money on their power bill, and contribute to a greener St. John. We will conduct a small test of the program this summer, and the campaign will launch in full in the fall of 2020. I'd encourage you to please visit our products and services page on our website to subscribe to learn more as this project evolves. So we're delighted to be able to offer this new innovation to our customers as we build out the utility of the future for St. John. We are very much looking forward to yet another project with the University of New Brunswick, as well as the beginning of a new relationship with innovative startup MyHeat. And finally, a special thank you to Wayne for your support and the support of your government, as without which this project would not be possible. Now back over to you, Ray.
Well, thank you very much, Ryan. I'm expecting that there'll be a lot of people in St. John that want to be taking advantage of the Home Heat Saver program as soon as it launches. Congratulations to you and your team and the partners you've worked with to bring this to St. John. Now, I'm delighted that we are joined today by David Campbell, the president of Jupia Consultants. Many of you will know David in his former role as chief economist of the province of New Brunswick, or as his work as a columnist and blogger on economic issues. David has more than 25 years experience as an economic and business consultant, working with industry, not-for-profit organizations, and governments across Canada. As I mentioned earlier, David undertook an economic impact analysis of St. John Energy, which produced some important findings for us on just how much we contribute to the prosperity of the St. John region and of the province as a whole. David is joining us today to give his summary of his key findings. David.
Thank you, Ray. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today about a recent economic impact report I prepared for St. John Energy. The impact report covers the period of 2015 to 2018 and looks at both the operational and capital spending associated with the firm over that time frame. It also looks at the future growth potential and the economic impacts of the firm over the next 10 years. Based on different scenarios for growth. So it's important to summarize for you what we mean when we talk about an economic impact model. We are trying to assess the economic footprint or economic impact of a firm in a local community. Depending on factors such as the supply chain and other factors, different firms have a much different impact in terms of how they're creating jobs and creating spending in the local community. So what this does is it really takes a look at the total spending of St. John Energy and makes an estimate of how that spending is impacting not only the city's economy, but the region and the province as a whole. Direct economic impacts are the impacts that occur within the firm, so wages and salaries and other activities in the firm. Indirect is the supply chain spending, so the purchase of power, the purchase of consulting services, anything that's in the supply chain of St. John Energy. And induced economic impacts are when labor income generated directly or indirectly is then spent on consumer or household spending in areas such as restaurants, groceries, and any other household spending. And those combined result in the total economic impact for the firm. So before I talk specifically about the model, I think we'll summarize by saying that St. John Energy offers a number of benefits associated with being locally owned and having local decision making. Number one is that St. John Energy offers its customers lower electricity rates. So a typical residential customer in St. John would save around $830 per year compared to a customer in Halifax with the same electricity usage rate, and almost $800 a year compared to a similar customer in Charlottetown. So that's a significant savings that households and small businesses can then turn around and spend in other areas. Household and business spending on electricity in general recycles back into the local community, and this is particularly true in the case of St. John Energy because the head office is in St. John. The electricity generation assets are in the region, so that's supply chain activity, but it is located, most of those assets are located in the greater St. John region, and most of the firm's other supply chain activity is also located in St. John or in the region. So what we find is for every dollar spent on local electricity in St. John, 82 cents worth of provincial GDP is created. So almost all of the value of that spending is staying in New Brunswick. For every direct job at St. John Energy, a total of 4.5 jobs are supported directly, indirectly, and from an induced effects across the provincial economy. So a significant economic and employment multiplier from St. John Energy. So this slide is just showing you a summary of the economic impacts for 2018 and for the period 2015 to 2018 combined. So you can see that of the roughly $20 million in revenue, nearly $100 million in GDP stays in New Brunswick. A lot of that is in the St. John region, a little bit more broadly across the province, but nearly $100 million of economic activity stays in the province over the period 2015 to 2018. Over $379 million worth of provincial GDP was created. The firm directly has 102 employees in 2018, but with the multiplier effect, that rose to over 450 jobs supported, mostly in the St. John area, but across the province as well. That drove about $37 million worth of labor income in 2018, or almost $140 million over the 4-year period 2015 to 2018. Consumer spending, a very important part of the economic impact, was over $27 million in 2018 and over nearly $104 million in the period 2015 to 2018. So that's money, again, from the spending of electricity that's recycled back into the local economy. Electricity spending also generates a lot of tax revenue. So when we look at the spending of taxes directly and from the consumer spending associated with the firm, it results in almost $22 million worth of tax revenue generated for government in 2018 and over $82 million in tax revenue combined over the 4-year period. So looking at the future growth potential of St. John Energy, what we see is that the firm is looking to roll out significant new investments and services which will have a positive impact on the economy in the years ahead. These investments and services include energy storage, wind energy, community solar, and additional business from utility services and consumer products. So it's not just about raising rates on existing customers. It's about building a suite of new services and new investments and ultimately new customers that will drive revenue growth for the firm and drive and increase the size of the economic footprint. The report includes growth scenarios, a low growth, a medium growth, and a high growth scenario. And for the purposes of this summary, we'll talk about the high growth scenario. So you'll see on the slide a summary economic impact from the high growth scenario. So we're looking at provincial GDP contribution rising to nearly $150 million a year in 2025 and $155 million by 2029, or over the 10-year period, $1.4 billion worth of provincial GDP created just from St. John Energy's operations. That will drive over $515 million worth of labor income over the 10-year period. Again, much of that recycles back into the economy as consumer spending. You will see here nearly $30 million of consumer spending in 2020 rises to $41 million in 2025 and almost $43 million in 2029 for a total 10-year consumer spending in the St. John region of about $383 million. We're looking at significant job creation and the expansion of employment directly and in the supply chain. So by 2029, based on the high growth scenario, nearly 700 jobs will be supported specifically as a result of St. John Energy's operations in St. John and across the province. And tax revenue will rise to nearly $35 million a year by 2029, or nearly $306 million over the 10-year time frame. So there are important other economic considerations. If St. John Energy were headquartered elsewhere, we'd be looking potentially at a loss of millions of dollars in head office and support services spending over time. So we have a good example of that. Of course, NBTEL used to be headquartered in St. John, but after the merger with the other regional telecommunications utilities and then the purchase by Bell Canada, most of that head office activity over time left the region, leaving basically a rump of employment in the city of St. John. It's still a very important employer in St. John, but far, far less economic impact than when the head office was here. And of course, that's a risk if St. John Energy were not located in the city of St. John. Some supply chain spending could migrate to suppliers outside the region. Of course, the big one is electricity. If we're importing electricity from outside New Brunswick, that would have a huge loss to the economy, because the GDP, employment, and other economic activity associated with the generation of power would occur outside the province. Operational and capital investment decisions impacting the region would be made elsewhere. Lower electricity rates for customers could be in jeopardy if St. John became part of just a broader utility. Then the decisions around electricity rates would take into consideration a lot more factors, and ultimately philanthropy and community support policies could be impacted as a head office located in the community is more loyal and more focused on just the local community as opposed to maybe a larger utility that might have a broader set of concerns. And I would just say in general, St. John has quite an energy cluster right now, and one of the big components of that is electricity. Not only St. John Energy, but many of NB Power's employees and service providers are located in the greater St. John area, and that means that the city of St. John, or the region, has one of the highest concentrations of employment in electricity generation, transmission, and distribution of any urban center in the country. So St. John Energy is a key part of that cluster of electricity services and providers. And if it was not located in the region, it could have a significant negative economic impact. So I encourage you to read the full report. It's available. It does go into great detail about what the definitions of direct, indirect, and induced spending are. It talks in much greater detail about consumer spending and how that impacts the local economy. Also a breakdown of where the taxes come from, shown in this report, and also much more detail around the expansion plans and the economic impact of those expansion plans. And now I'm going to pass it back to Ray to introduce the next segment of the AGM. Thank you.
Well, excuse me. Thank you very much, David. Some important insights on the importance of a locally owned utility and on St. John Energy's impact generally. Thank you for your work and for joining us here today. As David mentioned, the full report is available. You'll find it on our website at sjenergy.com. And now, as we move to close the formal part of the meeting today, I want to share how proud I am of our employees' hard work and commitment in serving the people of this city, especially at a trying time. We would not be nearly as successful as we are today if not for the ingenuity and dedication of our staff and our talented team, management team. I'm grateful each and every one of you. I want to leave you with a recent example. When COVID-19 was beginning to take hold a few months ago, our crews moved to ensure services at St. John hospitals and other critical operations were inspected and strengthened. For the crews, it was work they did without hesitation. They wanted to complete the job in record time and make absolutely certain critical services were in place when they were needed. I'd also like to take a moment and extend my personal thanks to our Board of Commissioners, who provide assured oversight to our operations on behalf of our owner, the City of St. John, and our wise counsel to me. In particular, I'd like to thank Derek Pannell, who stepped down from the board in 2019, and to welcome David Alston, who also joined our board this year. And so thank you everyone for your time and attention through the formal part of the proceedings today. And now over to you for your questions. Some of you have submitted questions when you registered for today's event. Questions can also be submitted through the chat function showing on your screen. So joining me today in answering your questions are Ryan Mitchell, also Jessica DeLong, our Manager of Stakeholder Relations, Dave Horgan, our Manager of Shared Services, and Tom Brown, our Manager of Finance. So I've got a list of questions that we received when people had registered. So I'll start with that. The first one is, what impacts will the growth strategy have on energy rates? Well, really, the growth strategy is helping us to evolve and remain relevant and make investments, continued investments in our core distribution utility to make sure that we can keep rates the lowest in Atlantic Canada and reliability levels at one of the best across the country. And what we're also doing is, so far as the system, we're aggressively attacking our peak demand energy costs. And that's, as I mentioned before, that right now those costs are about $30 million a year. And in addition to that, we want to open up, through our investments, opening up a series of options for customers to take more direct control over their energy future. The next question that came in is, how will COVID-19 impact the growth strategy? I mentioned earlier that I think the growth strategy is even more important now to help drive recovery for St. John. Now and always, we believe that it's really our civic responsibility and duty to be a catalyst for economic growth in the region, for our customers, for the city, and for our province. And certainly, as David Campbell's economic impact study indicates, having a community-owned electric utility with a concentration of energy workers and spending in the St. John region, that really puts a position of strength and continue to, add jobs, create jobs, drive prosperity. As David indicated, the 4.5 times multiplier to our direct employees, that's a significant source of job creation in the region. The next question, I think I'll ask Ryan Mitchell to answer this question. And the question is, how can St. John Energy residential customers learn more about and participate in emerging smart grid energy innovation demonstration or pilot projects?
All right. Okay. Thank you, Ray. Well, certainly, we definitely want our customers to sign up and to participate in the development of our smart energy projects. So if you'd like to be part of this, I would strongly encourage you to go to either our blog site, which is Powering Our Future, or our corporate website, which is stjohnenergy.com. And from there, you can go to our consumer products page, and then you'll find a link to more information, as well as an application form. So once you submit the application form, then we'll take it from there, and we will be in touch when the time is right.
Very good. Okay, and so the next question coming in, maybe Ryan, I'll ask you to field this question as well. Is St. John Energy investing electric vehicle charging as an offering?
All right. Well, certainly we're very excited about the developments surrounding electric vehicles, and we are actively monitoring the technological advancements as well as the costs associated with the EV charging infrastructure. We've been putting thought into the business case models and what role St. John Energy might play in that space in the future. EV charging is part of our Enercan Smart Grid initiative, where we plan to deploy a small number of residential chargers as we evaluate what a managed service offering might look like for the residential space. So it certainly is an area that we're interested in, but it is more of a down the road future play for us.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. The next question that came in was, how will COVID-19 and drop in demand impact 2020 and the rates? Well, I can answer that. We don't expect that this will have any impact on rates. There should be no rate increases attributable to COVID-19. We are experiencing impacts from deferred payments and reduced load. Our loads are probably down 8% compared to last year this time, and customers are in distress, and so there are customer deferred payments. But we are coming from a position of strength. As I mentioned before, we've had a track record of strong cash earnings. Our balance sheet is very strong. We have no long-term debt, and so when the effects of COVID really affected this community and the workplace, we also very rapidly looked at we recast our financial forecast and our operating plan forecast, and very rapidly we put in place a series of actions that we actually either reduced or deferred a lot of our operating and capital plans to free up sources of cash flows. We also accessed financial backstopping as well for the rest. So and so far, what we've seen to date, we're tracking well and probably just ahead of where we had anticipated in our reforecast as far as financial and operating plans. So we continue to track that very closely every week and every month. We continue to see how we're tracking against what we had predicted. So far, we're faring very well, and I've got every belief that we're coming out of the other end of this from a position or in a position of strength as well. So I won't try to overuse some of the phrases that are around, but we will get through this together, and I think we'll be a stronger community for it in the long run. Another question came in is, how will local businesses benefit from your growth initiatives in terms of, first of all, rates, and secondly, local procurement? So anyway, what our growth strategy is really intended to help us continue to evolve and to continue to keep rates low. So anyway, we really think that the more that we can keep rates relatively low, that is an economic advantage. It really does spawn greater economic activity in the region. So certainly we're committed to carry on that trajectory. And so with every project, there's always going to be opportunities for local businesses who can participate in contract or procurement opportunities. As David Campbell indicated in his part of the presentation today, that most of our supply chain is locally and in the region. So I just encourage you to reach out, and a big part of our success is working with our local partners and consultants and contractors in the community. So I think there will be lots of opportunity in the future as well. So like I said before, I encourage you to keep your eyes out for those opportunities, and we'll reach out as well. Another question came in: what economic benefits can we anticipate as a result of the growth strategy? Well, again, as we heard from David Campbell in his economic assessment report, in the growth agenda, our annual revenues are going to be ranging from $120 million in the early years to $190 million towards the end of that time frame, and totaling that'll be $1.4 billion in provincial GDP by the year 2029. Another question, Ryan, I think I'll ask you to field this one. What renewable energy options are St. John Energy looking into providing in the future?
All right. Well, how much time do I have on this one, Ray? Well, I'll start by saying that 85% of our customers, when surveyed, indicated that they do want St. John Energy to pursue the development of renewable energy. So it has been a pretty significant focus for us. Obviously, we're very encouraged by the cost trajectory of renewables as well as storage in general. And as Ray mentioned, our most recent focus certainly has been on supporting the development of wind energy around our Birch Hill project, as the lowest cost form of new energy in Canada is wind. Beyond that, I would suggest that solar, as Ray indicated, is also a key area of focus, as we do have ambitions to do a community solar project here in the region. And to that end, we have been collecting data for over 18 months. We've been evaluating a service where our customers could rent panels in a large-scale ground-mounted configuration and have the generation from those panels credited off of their bills. The business case isn't quite there yet, so I couldn't offer any specific timing around that. So it is a future item, but it is one that we continue to track against quite aggressively. So between the Birch Hill Wind Project, community solar, and utility storage, we do have a lot of focus on integrating renewables as well with our Smart Grid project, and with the focus really being on reducing our impact on the environment while achieving cost savings. With that, back to you, Ray.
Thank you, Ryan. Next question that had come in is, what needs to happen to make the growth strategy a reality? Well, I'd say there are two tracks or two themes to that. The first one is I've already mentioned that we've been working with the province to secure the necessary changes to have a modernization of our structure that, and again, to enable the dividend flow to the city. The other track is related to defining the utility of the future in New Brunswick. And so we are in discussions, we're in ongoing discussions with New Brunswick Power, where together we're defining what that will look like. So I think we, both utilities, very much agree upon what the future looks like 20 years from now. So I would say the scope of what we're working on right now is how do we build the bridge to that future. So we know where we are right now. We know the challenges and constraints and opportunities, and so we're right now in discussions as to what does that utility look like and how do we get there. So I'm encouraged by those discussions that are ongoing, and we'll keep you abreast as to how things develop. And one more question. It says, as a community member, how can I help build the growth strategy? Well, I think the first step is you've already done it. You've been part of this presentation, and you've been part of the AGM. You're here to learn more about our plans. And so just as a follow-up to that, if I could ask each of you to be really just to play an advocacy role and just relate all the positive aspects of that. And I think over time, over years, there'll be many opportunities to trial a lot of the products and services and help shape how we continue to deliver further services into the future. And really, anybody that has an interest, if you can approach your elected officials, your local MLAs, and just indicate your support for them, and trying to ensure that their continued support is there for us as well. And really, I think just another very simple thing you could do, that as you see some of our media releases and social media updates, if you can just pass them along, and if you want, you can subscribe to updates of what we're doing at either poweringourfuture.ca or at our website, sjenergy.com, and certainly sign up for some smart energy services and products. So those are all things that you could do to help. Another question has come in. This is a question from the live chat. And so there are rumors of a sale of St. John Energy. Any update on that? Yes, there was, it was some weeks ago now that there was an announcement of an unsolicited offer for to purchase St. John Energy from the city. With that, there was a great deal of a groundswell of support for St. John Energy remaining under the ownership of St. John Energy. As a result of that, Common Council voted to take any further consideration of the sale of St. John Energy off the table. So that's that update. Okay, one further has come in. This question is, has COVID impacted the schedule of the Birch Hill project? It's too early to determine to what extent, but we do expect, so far as supply chain, there may be some delays, but to the extent of that, it's not certain yet. As you know, supply chain, some of the major equipment and material is coming from offshore. So I know the developer is still working very hard to define if or to what extent there might be a delay, but yet to be determined, I guess. You see if there's any other questions coming in. Here's another one. Is there an estimated live date for solar rentals? We can't really put a date on that, as Ryan had indicated in his remarks, that the business case for that just isn't quite there yet. We're continuing to look very, very close, and so that is evolving. As you know, the cost of solar panels continues to come down. If there are sources of third-party grant funding from the federal government in a number of its programs that it delivers, any number of those things could trigger a business case that we would then be able to roll it out. And just see if there's any other questions. Okay, here's one. What are the biggest obstacles to achieving the growth strategy? Well, I think anybody that would be involved with it is garnering the support and the path forward to enabling legislative change that can put us on a path. Now, after saying that, there's many variations of that, and so I wouldn't want to say that's an obstacle, but it's a challenge that we're working through, and we will get through it. But I would say that's the greatest one, and I think one of the ways of being very effective on that is something I had mentioned earlier, that if MB Power and St. John Energy can come out together and describe the utility of the future in St. John, I think any real or perceived obstacles or barriers will disappear. So that's why I think there's a high level of importance and motivation for both of us to define what that utility looks like in the future. So I'm really optimistic that that's going to prove very real results. And see if there's any other questions. I'll just do one more check here. I don't see any other questions, so yeah. I don't see any others coming in right now. So really, I really appreciate you all participating today at our annual general meeting. If you do have any other questions for us or would like information, we are here for you. Visit us at our website, engage with us on social media, or call us at 658-5252. We leave you today with a video outlining another commitment we have made to the environment and to sustainability. And one of the we're also very proud, we've mentioned this before, we're proud to be the first utility in Eastern Canada to receive the Sustainable Electricity Company designation. Please stay with us to watch this short video as we close out the meeting, and thank you once again for your interest and your support of St. John Energy. Be well.
St. John Energy works hard to maintain a reliable power grid for our city while doing our best for the local environment. We were the first power utility in Eastern Canada to receive the Sustainable Electricity brand designation. Here's why. In sensitive wetlands, we use untreated wooden poles which contain no chemical preservatives. We are continually installing bird protection guards which safeguard wildlife. New heat pump technology significantly lowers the demand for electricity for heating. The trail lights at Lily Lake are now solar powered. It's a great fit for our city's biggest nature park. We made the switch to more efficient LED lighting outdoors, reducing light pollution in our city's night sky. But perhaps the most exciting gains for the environment will be found in the adoption of more renewable forms of electrical generation. Renewables mitigate climate change, and the cost of solar and wind power are much lower than even 10 years ago. This represents a new model for us at the utility. We've been working with some of New Brunswick's leading post-secondary research centers to develop sustainable technology that will work for St. John. It will mean upgrading the grid in order to make it a two-way system. And it will allow customers to choose if they want to generate electricity with residential solar panels, be part of larger shared community solar installations, or continue to be served by traditional generation. Renewables will be a viable choice for St. John Energy customers, and that will go a long way to reducing our impact on this part of the planet we call home. St. John Energy, your sustainable city-owned power utility.